Welcome to The Explainer, where we're going to crack the code on one of the biggest questions for any business today: social media marketing costs. We're here to help you navigate this whole thing so you can actually budget with confidence.
Okay, let's get right to it. This is probably the #1 question we hear from small business owners, from startup founders, you name it. So let's just forget the guesswork, right? Let's get you a clear, data-backed answer.
And in the next few minutes, we're going to cover pretty much everything. We'll go from these kind of hidden factors that can drive up your costs all the way to some really practical steps you can take to make sure every single rupee you spend is actually counting towards real growth. So let's dive in. Before we even talk about specific prices, we've got to understand what you're actually paying for. Because, the answer isn't just some single number. It's a direct reflection of your business strategy. I want you to think of your final cost kind of like a recipe. It's this blend of your main marketing goals, which platforms you're on, how precise your audience targeting needs to be, and just how complex your campaigns are. Every single one of these ingredients changes the final price.
And here's a perfect example of how your main goal can change everything. See, if you're just trying to build brand awareness, your costs are going to stay lower because you can lean on organic content. But the moment your goal switches to generating really high-quality leads, well, the strategy gets way more sophisticated. You need paid ads, super precise targeting, and yep, the cost goes up right along with it.
Okay, so keeping all those factors in mind, let's get to the numbers everyone's waiting for. What can you actually expect to pay per month for professional social media marketing services here in India? For a small business or a startup, you can really get in the game with professional social media management for as little as 20,000 rupees a month. This is your entry point, what gets your foot in the door with a dedicated strategy. But hold on, that starting price? That's just the beginning. The real question you should be asking is, what services are actually included, and how do these costs scale up as your needs get more and more complex? So here's a look at how the costs usually stack up. You've got your foundation, right? That's organic management. It covers your day-to-day content, your posting, your community engagement. Then from there, you can strategically layer on other services, like paid ads for super targeted visibility, or maybe influencer marketing to connect with a really specific niche audience. You're basically building your own custom marketing engine. But it's not just about the services you pick.
Nope. Another huge factor is the industry you're in. This can totally change your budget expectations.
Take a look at this. B2B and SaaS companies. They often have the highest budgets. Why? Well, it's because they have to rely on really expensive, high-precision targeting on platforms like LinkedIn just to reach a few specific decision makers. That's a world away from a sector like, say, education, which can often hit its goals with a much more modest budget. All right, we've talked a lot about cost. A lot. But honestly, the most important conversation is about value. Now that you get the pricing, how do you make sure you get the absolute best return on that investment? Getting the most bang for your buck really boils down to this 4-step loop. It starts with setting realistic goals, then moves to creating high-quality content that people actually want to see. After that, you use data to get smarter, tracking things like your cost per click and, this is the big one, your return on ad spend. That's what lets you find that sweet spot between short-term paid ad wins and long-term organic growth.
So, after breaking all of this down, you start to see that maybe, just maybe, our initial question was a little off. We kind of need to reframe how we're thinking about this. And that brings us to the most important point of all. There is no single magic number. There just isn't. Real success comes from finding a strategic balance. You have to align your business goals with the right mix of services, and of course, find the right team to actually execute that vision. And that leaves us with the real question you should be asking yourself. It's not, how much does social media marketing cost? It's, what is the right investment to fuel my specific business goals and drive real, sustainable growth? Answering that, that's how you really crack the code.